I'm Kyle Widrick. This is the Creator Series. Here today with Mitch Thrower. I'm actually on his day-to-day desk here, this workable bike. Mitch is a very accomplished athlete. We're surrounded by some of his accomplishments, several IRONMAN race medals. He's also a successful business person, co-founder of Active.com, founder of Events.com. Thank you, Mitch.
Thanks, Kyle. It's always great to connect.
Let's start with, we're sitting here with, I don't know how many medals here. What is an Ironman race? What does it consist of?
So an Ironman triathlon is a 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike, followed by a marathon run, and transitions in between.
Back to back to back.
Back to back.
Wow, incredible.
Back to back. It's a long day.
How many have you finished?
So I have done 22.
22.
22.
And most people think about a marathon, it's way too much. What compels people like you to do not only one but 22 of these incredible races?
It's funny because I think a marathon, and I've run marathons as well, I believe marathons are more difficult than the marathon in an Ironman. And I know that's counterintuitive,
wow.
But by the time you get to a marathon and an Ironman, you have so many endorphins, you have so much enthusiasm and support, and there's an aid station almost every mile.
Okay.
It becomes a very different experience.
Will you do more races?
I will. I don't know how many Ironmans are in the future, but there's definitely some, and some half Ironmans. My wife and I actually did a half Ironman for a honeymoon.
Wow.
So that was that was great.
Incredible. And she signed up for that. She was okay with it?
She did. It was her third or second or third triathlon ever.
Okay.
But yeah, she signed up for it.
And I'm sure you've done them all around the world at this point. Which was the most, incredible for you? Which location?
There's nothing like the Hawaiian Ironman. Ironman in Hawaii, which is the world championship. You're out on the lava fields, you're swimming in Kailua Bay in Kona, Hawaii, and you're running through some pretty hot pavement, but it's just something that it changes you at the very core.
Looking back, you're swimming 2.5 miles, you're biking. Is there a moment that you can think of that's the hardest moment for you to get through, either in one race or just in general?
I think the most difficult part is definitely, for me, has always been the run. And I think every one of the races I've done, around mile 21 to 24, you make some crazy commitments to yourself. You're like, I'm never doing this again. This is never happening. I will not do this. Just get me through this, and I will never do it again. And there's lots of things. I think they say that doing an Ironman is like 10 years of therapy, right?
Wow.
Because you're out there and you're so into all of your thoughts in your life and focus. But and then around mile 25, right at the end, you say, oh, well, I can't wait to sign up for the next one.
Wow.
And then you come down that last
the opposite
half
side
a mile and you're ready to sign up again.
So a lot of it sounds like a lot of it is the mental toughness.
I think it is. Half of endurance racing, I think, is physical and half is mental. It's about a 50-50 blend. Most people don't realize that.
And so you've done, 22 of something most people will never even think about doing. Is there something unique about your body, the way you were born? Was it more training? Is it born in you, or do you learn it along the way?
Oh boy. I think when it comes to endurance athletics, it really is open for anybody. I think that anybody can be an endurance athlete. Anyone can race in an endurance event. Now, the goal is to finish. The goal is not to win.
Okay, so Mitch actually, when I was going to do a mini sprint triathlon, gave me some pointers, some advice. Knowing me, if I wanted to do an Ironman, how long would that training process take? Could I, number one, could I do it?
Of course.
How long would it take?
Of course you could. And I think for anyone looking at the potential of doing a marathon or a triathlon or a long distance race, it really is breaking it down into smaller steps. So, I recommend somewhere between 9 months and a year for someone to start thinking about an Ironman distance race and start building up the base to get to a place where you feel comfortable doing something. I remember asking someone one night, what do you recommend? His name was Rob Mackel. He was the person who used to win all the swims in Ironman. I said, Rob, what is your advice? This was before my first race in Hawaii in '94. And he just looked back at me and he said 2 words. He said, pain management. So, that's true. That's a very
I just finished the sprint triathlon, and it took me
congratulations.
almost 60 minutes to do the swim.
Right.
It should take 20.
Well, you learn. You learn to get faster. I couldn't swim in the beginning. I couldn't get from one end of the pool to the other. I was a lacrosse player and then ended up fracturing both my knees, which actually was one of the things that catapulted me into the sport on a physical level, as I sort of lost the capacity to really run and walk.
Have you been injured during a race where you needed to get through an injury to finish?
I have, and I sliced my foot open. So I went to the doctor, and they said, well, you can either crazy glue it together and race, or you're out of the race because you have to be careful of bacteria getting in your foot. So I crazy glued my foot together and finished the race.
And how long does a race take, time-wise, start to finish?
8 hours are the winners. Somewhere sub 8 is a really fast time, like an incredibly fast time.
So for 8 hours.
8 hours.
Or 10 or 12.
10 or 12. My fastest is 9:59.
Non-stop, you're just at full running, swimming.
And biking.
And you keep yourself in, I would consider, a very good shape. What you eat, how you live your lifestyle. How important is that to the racing?
There's a philosophy, the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule. So 80% of the time, I'll try and be really, really healthy. And 20% of the time, just because with the travel and work and your schedule, and those are the things where you just have to not really worry that much about it. Some people go 100% healthy all the time, and then they go mad.
Right.
So, and then if you're going to get ready for a race, I'll maybe take it to 90-10 and be more focused on diet and eating and, avoiding Oreos or whatever it might be.
Got it. Well, if you want to race an event, Mitch is the guy to talk to. We'll transition to business. Mitch has also been very successful on the business side. So you were a co-founder of Active.com. Active went public. It was later sold for over $1 billion. You moved on to found Events.com.
Correct.
What should people know about Events.com today and where it's headed?
So I'm really excited about Events.com. For us, the foundational thought, or really the investment thesis behind Events.com, is that there's a much better way to provide value to the event organizer and the event goer, the people that are going to go to these events and the people that are actually planning them. And so for us, it's really about building an increasingly better and better platform for those event organizers to.
So I would find the event on my phone, but what I probably wouldn't know is that you're also powering the ticketing, etc., behind the scenes.
Correct. So ticketing is only one part. So ticketing and really the transaction processing is one layer of the Events.com manifest. And the other layers are to help the organizer manage their event. So whether they need data, analytics, whether they need additional ways to monetize their event, helping them with the sponsorship components, all the things that events need as an event organizer.
Got it.
And so
bringing it all together,
giving them one solution that helps them be more successful. That's the manifest.
Got it. So when you look at your history of investing and starting companies, what's been your biggest success that you feel was the best accomplishment?
And the adage, do what you love and the money will follow?
Yes.
Well, I think that's kind of wrong, in the sense that what you need to do is take what you love and analyze where value is moving, and then do that.
Got it.
Right, so I started to look around and look for pieces, and so back to your original question, I did a leveraged buyout of Triathlete magazine with some partners, and so that was, I love the sport of triathlon and saw that there was value, and so we bought the magazine and then sold it later downstream.
And have you had any large misses? You had an opportunity, you didn't participate.
Yeah. Well, let's see. In terms of not investing in Uber or not investing in Lyft in the early days.
Could be.
When we bought Triathlete magazine, this was an interesting miss. We also bought a magazine that came along with it. We bought Triathlete and we bought a magazine called Winning. So fast forward, we had a very inventive person who said, well, the next thing, now we're talking 97, and this person said, the next thing's going to be this adventure, mud, obstacle, crazy racing. And he predicted it.
Okay.
And so we launched a magazine, and it just didn't have any subscribers. So we ended up...
Tough Mudder, the Spartan Race.
Correct. But this was a decade before.
Interesting.
So we launched it too early. So timing is everything.
Any advice, any pointers you would give young entrepreneurs that are trying to found the next events, the next Triathlete magazine? What can they do to get headed in the right direction?
I think get out of whatever environment they're in, wherever they're trying to do their create their business, trying to make money. I think they need to change your environment. And it's been said in the past that you don't really know yourself or your life until you've looked at both from somewhere else.
Interesting.
And the challenge for most entrepreneurs is they'll try and raise money where they are. They'll try and engage. They're not going to get on a plane and go to the right conference, go to the right place to meet people. You have to figure out how to get yourself out of your comfort zone. People invest in people, and people do business with people. And so you want to basically expose yourself and your idea to those people, as opposed to just sending out a business plan and sending out a teaser and getting this email, etc. I mean, it's a tough lift for entrepreneurs today because there's so much noise.
So FaceTime and getting out to see new people with that FaceTime. I guess we can tell people that you just had a baby.
I did.
Congratulations.
I have a son.
That's baby number one.
Baby number one.
For you. Has that changed life?
I think we're very fortunate. In fact, we feel very blessed that we have a fairly cooperative little baby.
Okay.
We have friends that have gone through non-cooperative births, but
Sure.
My wife is amazing, and our little boy is amazing, and it's given me a whole new perspective.
Well, Mitch lives in the best place in the country, La Jolla. So that's
La Jolla, California. It's not reality here. That's why you have to travel, right? You have to go on.
It's also a nice thing. Your son, will he be a mini Ironman?
We'll see. The human body is capable of so many miraculous things, and to have someone come into life and then discover what their human body is capable of is something pretty spectacular. And that can be triathlon, that can be swimming,
Sure.
Hopefully not football, but maybe football, because football's still an amazing sport.
I'm sure he'll have the best teacher if he would
And we'll
like
do some great coaching, right?
if you would like to. So you've done a lot in business. You've sort of rounded out your personal life with your family, and you've done a lot to compete. For you, looking back when you're 80 and 90 and 95 years old, what do you want people to think about Mitch Thrower as? What's the most interesting aspect of what you've been able to accomplish?
For me, it really is something where I want to be able to look back and say that I inspired other people, that I was kind of a guiding light and maybe an inspiration in certain ways. I know there was a situation that happened in my life, actually. I lost my sister when she was 16. And she had gotten sick. She had osteosarcoma, and she'd gotten sick and had gone through chemo for 2 years. And I was 14, she was 16, she was my best friend, and so you're there with your best friend, and you're given a totally different perspective on health and what health means and what it means to treat life seriously. Like, it's a pretty short trip. I mean, we're here. 100 years goes by in a clip.
Sure.
So for me, she inspired me, and one of the reasons I was so focused in staying in sport when I had it taken away and then got it back, and getting involved in triathlon, is because I was really celebrating the fact that not only am I alive, but I mean, look at what you can do with your body. Look at what you can
Sure.
do as a human being. Like the whole world when they watch the Olympics.
Not taking that for granted.
Not taking it for granted. But then also using your life as an example to let other people be inspired to, start a company or do something they're passionate about, or
Sure.
do a triathlon, or anything that they feel is in the realm of what they want to accomplish.
Perfect.
You know.
That's it. Thank you, Mitch.
Oh, thanks,
Appreciate
Kyle.
it.